honestly, from my experience, I found that these practices, they really do help. I mean, like I said before, I honestly think that it comes more, reaction time is more of a mindset rather than muscle memory. So, I mean, I was content with my practice rate until I got a new phone. Now, this thing does not seem to want to help me practice. For whatever reason, it always gives my reaction time in increments of 0.17 or 17 thousandths of a second. Given what I need it for to return my reaction time at the exact moment I let off the button, it wasn't completely useless, but I was using it less and less. So, about the time this happened, DaVinci Day was announced. Now, when I heard about this, my mind started racing. Ideas swam around my head, but I knew one thing for certain. I was going to program something. Sound off topic? Give me a minute. See, let's step away from racing for a bit and focus on the second of three parts that contributed to my DaVinci Day project. Computers have always been a major part of my life, and I've wanted to learn to code for a while now. Finally, taking the plunge and creating something would be my first step into the world of computer programming, a world I plan on making a career in. So what better time to learn how to code and create something than in school with my peers and my teachers there to help me along. So I decided, but I still had questions. What was I going to make, and where would I even make it? Now the last question, it led me to the third piece of my DaVinci Day project, my Pebble smartwatch. Now, I'm sure most of you heard of smartwatches before, like the Galaxy Gear. Well, the Pebble, it's a bit different. See, while it lacks things such as like a touchscreen or even a color display, its features do include being waterproof up to 5 ATM, a charge that lasts almost a full week, Android and iOS support, and most importantly, open source and third-party developer support. What that means exactly is that anyone can go ahead, open up the Pebble SDK, and use a combination of the C and JavaScript programming languages to create anything they can imagine. Now, I got one of these things around Christmas, and I never really experimented with the SDK, although I knew I had plans to. So I pieced together, that's when I pieced together two of my DaVinci Day project pieces. I was going to create an original application for my Pebble smartwatch. But the question still remained, what was I going to make? I had a few ideas, like a homework planner or maybe a scorekeeper, but I mean, none of these ideas really spoke to me, and I mean, they've all been done 100 times before. Now see, I wanted to make something that was important to me, something I could be proud of. So, it took me a while, but eventually, I remembered an idea I had a few months beforehand. What if I could use practice rate on my watch? That way I could practice my reaction time whenever I wanted without even having to take my phone out. See, I was a bit excited about that idea until I realized that no one had actually made an application similar to that. So I couldn't, that was something that I could not do. But think of it now, I mean, I finally had the final piece of my DaVinci Day puzzle. So, what was next? Well, I had to learn to code. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not a complete stranger to computer programming. I've tried with a bit of languages. I tried to learn Python, I attempted Ruby, I had a bit of JavaScript down, and I toyed with Lua for a bit. But for this project, I needed to know C. Now, the beautiful thing about programming languages is that many of them are very, very similar. They all allow you to create what you want, but they just use different terms to accomplish that. So, learning C wasn't incredibly difficult, but then again, it wasn't that easy. So again, since I wasn't a complete stranger to programming, and the idea of learning C through some formal means, such as a guide or some other thing, didn't exactly appeal to me. I mean, I decided to make a different approach. I would learn the C language hands-on. What that means exactly is that I dove right into making applications for my watch. I didn't bother to look at some tutorials or introductions to C language on the internet. I literally opened up the Pebble SDK and made an application. So in total, over the course of my project, I made 3 applications. The first to act as my initial introduction into making word shapes appear on my watch. The second to act as my main development site, where I hammered out most of my code and created the bare bones version of my app. And the third to be the official, clean, and final version of it. So while I won't go into too much detail of the coding process, that in fact is a snippet of my code. What I want to express is that I thoroughly enjoyed making my app. Step by step, line by line, I learned more and more of the C language, and I gained more experience working with a physical environment with my watch. So, eventually, after just a few weeks of grinding grinding out my code, I was finally finished with a product I was happy with, and one I was willing to share with the world. So, on May 2nd, my application, Pebble Tree, was released on the Pebble App Store. Since then, it has received 82 unique downloads, and 51 users currently have the app loaded onto their watch. Now, those numbers, they might seem small, but what you have to keep in mind is the tiny demographic that my app is reaching to. The amount of people that already own a Pebble Watch is small enough. I mean, it's not a very, very popular piece of tech. I'm sure most of you haven't heard of it until now. So, from that already small group, only people who were drag racers, who knew what drag racing is and would want to practice their reaction time, will be ones who downloaded my app. So I mean, again, keeping that in mind, keeping that tiny, tiny demographic in mind, 82 downloads is, for me at least, a staggering accomplishment. So now for the fun part. I want to show you all my application in action, what all my hard work finally paid off with. So before I do that exactly, I'm going to call 3 people up I'm going to call 3 you people up to compete and see who can get the best reaction time using my application. Anyone want to come up here? Okay. Aaron, Benjamin, and Nick. Alright, so while I'm explaining this, while I'm explaining it to these people, I have a video ready I'm going to show you that hopefully should explain it a bit, and I hope my voice is